for a while there, they were really trying to hide from the fact that some people in the film were calling it feminist. Other people in the film were saying it isn't feminist. The funny story was, a bunch of the female actresses in the movie said, oh, yeah, it's definitely a feminist triumph. It's a feminist movie, blah, 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 blah. Then Mattel, the company that owns the Barbie license and needs this movie to make money, literally came out and said, hey, it's actually not a feminist movie. I thought that was one of the biggest, W's. That just says or tells us that we know that they're watching and that they know if their movies get, classified as woke or whatever, it's going to hurt their overall performance in the movie theaters. Like, we know this now because we're not insane, but clearly it's actually it's getting up to the top decision makers, top men and women. And so it's really interesting to watch, initially see them completely scramble once it got called that. Now, on the 4th of July, Greta Gerwig, the director or whatever, dubs it a humanist movie.
I'll get the hell out of here.
To avoid that feminist label because they know it'll cost them $100 million.
Well, it's too late. It's too late. Because they said it already. When they were asked, is it a feminist movie? They said, yeah, I think Barbie's a feminist. And all they had to do was say, I think. So how would I have responded to that question? Let's say, for instance, I'm a feminist and I'm putting feminist propaganda in there. And somebody asked me, is Barbie a feminist? I'd say, what I would say is, I think Barbie is a woman who's trying to figure things out. Is there some feminist? Does she have some feminist ideas? I'm sure she does, but I'm pretty sure there's some feminist ideas that she doesn't agree with. And I think that relates to where a lot of women are in society nowadays. I'm just speaking as if I was the director, I was the writer, I was the producer. I'm just talking about somebody says, is Barbie a feminist? My response to that would be, I think where Barbie is right now is she's trying to figure those things out as a young woman. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of young women today are trying to figure that out because there's some feminist ideas that they like and some that they don't like. And so it's kind of in between. That's how I would have answered it. I'm not saying that you don't have to, oh no, she's not a feminist. I'm not saying you have to do that, but like, come on now. Like, oh yeah, when you say, oh yeah, she's a feminist. Guys, before we get into it, I just want to say that if you agree with or like any part of my commentary, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It's becoming very apparent that YouTube is not a fan of the conservative nature in which we speak about movies, video games, pop culture, and politics around here. And so if we can get our engagement right, when we go up to YouTube, we can swipe our race card without having to worry about it declining, okay? Let's get into it.
Box office. Think I'm kidding? Look at The Little Mermaid.
Had you done anything on Make Ben and Jerry's Bud Light? Nah, the Ben and Jerry situation? I'll go to that next.
Think I'm kidding? Look at all the other woke disasters that have hit Hollywood in the past 6 months alone. Hollywood knows that people are done with a lot of this, woke garbage and, messaging. And men are sick of seeing male characters be shells of their former self. We're watching it play out in real time with Indiana Jones, essentially a feminist film that makes Indiana Jones a tired old loser, broken shell of a man that's constantly cowering in a corner. You can see while Mattel executives may have distanced themselves from the feminist themes in Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie, the director has had her say as well. All this stuff, by the way, they didn't have to say any of this stuff about the movie. It would have performed very well if they just didn't say any of this stuff. Like even
Exactly. I mean, to be honest with you, I still think it's going to perform well. I just think that there's a subset of people like myself and a few others who you're just not gonna get a ticket from now. You're not gonna get a purchase from now, and I think that's a shame because I thought Barbie had a chance to be a box office hit.
Twin sister, I grew up knowing more than I care to admit about Barbie. When I saw the trailer, I was like, "This looks like a fun movie. Probably have a lot of goofs and gaffs, and I'll probably watch it."
Mm-hmm.
And now all this stuff's come. I'm just out. It's so easy, isn't it? Nowadays, it's so easy to just not watch it. It's so easy to just watch. I just went through this. I've been rewatching Married with Children, by the way. Totally holds up. There's so many great movies from the 80s and 90s that totally hold up that you'll never need to watch anything new. And so it's just gotten.
I think Jeremy is going a little bit overboard with that. As a matter of fact, I really disagree. It's too many projects out here that are doing good work that are not getting political that deserves your view. And so for you to go and say, there's plenty of movies from the 80s and 90s to go and watch, I think that's doing a disservice. Why not reward the creators who are making good content today, movies, TV shows, etc., that aren't political, instead of just, oh, I'm just gonna check out and I'm gonna watch old movies. I think that sucks.
So easy too, especially with streaming, that I can just click around and find. I can go find something.
Like I thought Wednesday was good. I recently just watched um on from Amazon. That show is really good. It has its flaws. Character motivations switch around a little bit too much for my liking. There are some storylines that are just dropped for no reason, like love triangle things that are just dropped for no reason. But overall, I think it's really good.
Actually good, and not be forced to choose between just a few people. So speaking of Rolling Stone, in an in-depth interview, Gerwig addressed feministic themes in the film. I think of the film as humanist above all else, which is worse. How Barbie operates in Barbie Land is she's entirely continuous with her environment, even though the houses have no walls, because you never need to hide because there's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed of, and suddenly finding yourself in the real world and wishing you could hide is the essence of being human, Greta said. But when we were actually filming on Venice Beach with Margot and Ryan in the neon rollerblading outfits, it was fascinating. It was actually happening in front of us. People will go by Ryan and high-five him and say, "Awesome, Ryan, you look great." And they wouldn't actually say anything to Margot. They'd just look at her. It was surreal. You know why that is? This is, okay, holy moly. Okay, you know why that is? It's because people like Greta Gerwig and other feminists for the past 10 years have been calling men creepy creepazoids for going and talking to women. I would 1,000% relate with the idea that if I saw him, I guess I don't really care about Hollywood actors, but like I would give him a high five, but I wouldn't want to go give a high five to Margot Robbie because I wouldn't want her to feel like I was being a creep.
Exactly. Especially you got this highly attractive woman. As a man, you don't know if women actually find you attractive. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? You like to think so, but it's really like when it comes to women, it's really about does she find you attractive or not? You know what I'm saying? If the wrong woman if she doesn't find you attractive, she might me too your ass for giving you just for trying to give her a high five. Like she might me too you for real. That's not a joke.
Not because I don't like her or not because I wouldn't want to talk to her, but because men have been pummeled into submission to think that we're creeps, you shouldn't be talking to women. And by the way, this is going to create a whole generation of eggless, bitter old women because men just aren't putting in the effort to talk to them anymore. And you see, like, they wouldn't say anything. To be fair, Ryan was like, I wish I wasn't wearing the vest last, but it was kind of a different discomfort. No, see, what she's trying to say is, oh, people didn't like her because she's a woman. No, that's not the case. People didn't go up and say hi to her because they were afraid of having an entire article written about them with their family's name and their location listed.
And see, women want to have it both ways, bro. They want to be at the top. They want to be well respected. They want to be, they want to be like men, but then turn around and when they don't get it, or when they do get it, I'm sorry, they want to have the power to be able to me too you whenever they want. Like especially if you have a high paying job or you're in the industry or you're famous, any interaction with a woman whatsoever could be the end of you. This horse milk guy is in the chat again on Rumble. I'm not reading that comment, bro. Like, I understand you're gonna keep dropping that. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your view, but I'm not reading that comment, bro. That is a wild comment. All right. Let's see. We're gonna finish this up and then Reach has a link for us.
And called a creep. Then Ted Cruz now shreds Barbie movie for including Chinese propaganda map. You know why they did that is because they want to make sure that they can get this film shown in China. Because what we're finding out now, my friends, is that these movies, modern cinema, cannot succeed, cannot make a single penny without the enormous amount of money that comes from China.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. First of all, China gets such a big cut from that. It's not really. I mean, unless somebody can tell me otherwise, maybe I'm wrong. But China gets such a big cut of that, like, and then like Into the Spider-Verse recently made a lot of money. It didn't. I mean, like, it didn't blow China away. So,
happened was Hollywood got used to pandering to the Chinese because it's such a huge audience that even a mediocre movie would make a ton of money. But when you have now, when movies are getting banned from China, so many Marvel movies, why do you think all these Marvel movies are flopping? It's because they're not getting the free $200-300 million from China. Now, Senator Ted Cruz unleashed boxed up anger at the Barbie movie for including what he called, his office called Chinese communist propaganda in the anticipated summer blockbuster of July 21st. The Margot Robbie starred film came under fire for pro-China on-screen representation of islands in the South China Sea that are disputed and have been the subject of two separate military campaigns back in 1974 and 1988, both between Vietnam and China. In 2016, the United Nations Court ruled that China's claim to the regions had no basis in international law. Vietnam now has banned.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. You know, I was gonna go and see the movie, but now I'm just gonna leave it alone. But you know, I wish them good luck at the box office. Let's see what Reach is sending us on Twitter.
Let's go. Hey. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with